Steve Forbes asked the president to do one thing: sit behind the desk, look into the camera, explain to the American people why the pain is worth it. Put the gas prices, the economic disruption, the global instability into context. Make the case for American leadership across 3 simultaneous crises. Last night, Trump addressed the nation on primetime television. He did not do what Forbes asked. He did not mention Ukraine. He did not mention Taiwan. He did not explain why NATO allies refused to join a war they were never consulted on. He declared the Iran operation was nearing completion, promised 2 to 3 more weeks of strikes, and threatened to bomb Iran back to the Stone Ages. Oil jumped above $105 during the speech. Asian markets dropped overnight. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard responded by morning saying the Strait of Hormuz remains firmly under their control and will not be reopened through what they called a ridiculous spectacle. Forbes asked for a commander-in-chief moment. He got a campaign rally in the Cross Hall, and it gets worse. NBC News reported last week that Trump receives his daily war briefings through a 2-minute video montage of the best strike footage from the previous 48 hours, a curated highlight reel. His own allies inside the administration are raising concerns that the president may not be absorbing the full picture of the war. He watches the wins. He questions why the media does not show what he is seeing. The disconnect between what is being shown to the president and what is actually happening on the ground is the story Forbes was trying to prevent by demanding a serious, stakes-driven address to the nation. Instead, the president watched his reel and gave one of his own.
President Trump and the United States face 3 immediate tests that will profoundly affect our security and that of the free world. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. The 3 big tests we must deal with are well known: Iran, Ukraine, and Taiwan. China, despite economic woes, is intent on replacing the U.S. as the Earth's dominant power. It is relentlessly building up its military and attempting to expand its influence around the world despite occasional setbacks. Russia is determined to control Ukraine and break NATO, the core of our post-World War security system. That would return us to the kind of national rivalries in Europe that led to 2 world wars. Iran's terrorist imperialist regime believes survival in the current war would be a victory, enabling it to have veto power over the crucial Strait of Hormuz and eventually become the dominant power in the Middle East again, while murderously spreading its diabolical religious fanaticism everywhere. The policy implications of these tests are clear, but that doesn't guarantee that we'll pursue them with patience and determination. Negotiations with the mullahs is a fool's game. These fanatics will not abandon their fantastical ambitions no matter what they promise. The bottom line is that anything less than the ultimate destruction of the government of malignant mullahs would be a disastrous setback, showing our adversaries and friends that we no longer have the stamina and sense of purpose to be the leader and enforcer of a benign world order. That's why President Trump must authoritatively address the nation behind his desk in the Oval Office on the stakes involved. That would put the temporary rise in gas prices and the inevitable surprises in warfare in the context of the crucially important issues at stake here. A bad settlement in Ukraine would be a profound setback for the free world. Putin senses that the White House regards this war as a distraction, a nuisance, standing in the way of lucrative commercial and energy deals. He thinks this administration has no grasp of the strategic importance of the outcome of the Ukraine war, and that therefore Washington will soon be hitting Kyiv hard to give in to the Kremlin on key issues. Despite insufficient help from the U.S. and certain European countries, Ukraine lately has achieved remarkable battlefield successes against Russia. It has also been inflicting genuine damage on Russia's energy infrastructure, Moscow's principal source of income is oil, and certain defense factories. Give Kyiv the tools in sufficient quantity, and it will do the job. President Trump will be meeting with Xi Jinping in May. The Chinese strongman believes Trump isn't willing to defend the island of Taiwan if it is attacked. Such an assault need not be an invasion, but rather a blockade that could only be broken by military force. So Xi will try to change traditional U.S. language regarding the status of Taiwan to signal that its days of self-rule are coming to an end and that other nations had better get on the good side of Beijing. That would be an unmitigated disaster for us and the free world. President Trump must be unambiguous about Taiwan. No forcible change will be tolerated. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions, and I look forward to being with you soon.
Forbes laid out 3 tests and asked for presidential leadership on all of them. Here is what happened instead. On Iran, the war Trump said would last days is in its 33rd. Gas is above $4. The Hormuz blockade holds. Trump's primetime speech moved oil prices in the wrong direction. On NATO, Trump called the alliance a paper tiger yesterday and told Reuters he is absolutely considering withdrawal. Marco Rubio, his own Secretary of State, co-authored the 2023 law that makes unilateral NATO withdrawal illegal. That same Rubio now says the alliance should be re-examined. He wrote the law to stop exactly this. Now he is helping it happen. On Taiwan, Trump postponed his summit with Xi from late March to mid-May because Iran ate his calendar. Xi used the gap. He invited Taiwan's opposition leader to Beijing. That leader has been campaigning against the defense spending America asked Taiwan to approve. U.S. senators visited Taipei this week, essentially begging lawmakers to act before the window closes. Steve Forbes is not a media pundit chasing clicks. He is an 80-year-old conservative institution who has spent his career arguing that American strength keeps the world stable. When that man looks at the sitting Republican president and publicly says he is at risk of proving that America no longer has the stamina to lead, that is not commentary. That is an alarm being pulled from inside the building. The building is still on fire. The alarm is still ringing. The question is whether anyone in the Oval Office can hear it over the highlight reel. Subscribe. Share this, and tell me in the comments whether you think Forbes is right.